rooted in dreams. A dream at birth is a fragile thing, though born in the hearts of the convicted. I begin with the premise that closed eyes often perceive reality more clearly than what we can ever see in the distances. I begin with the premise that roots dream of clouds long before they dream of water. I begin with the premise that tomorrow is always more important than today.
The great accomplishment of University of West Indies at 50 has been its students and its graduates, or what we call its alumni.
We are hoping that our students can go out there and really transform the society.
It's just a place where ideas and dreams can be cultivated and facilitated, and I think that's the most touching thing about being a student here.
There's no reason why the St. Augustine campus should not seek to occupy and aspire to a space in which it is a world leader in areas that it feels it can be dominant and make a significant contribution to the world.
The Imperial College was founded way back in 1922. One of the reasons that Trinidad was chosen was because its agricultural sector was very diverse. Barbados, in fact, was an obvious choice. Barbados is more central in terms of steamship communications, etc., than Trinidad. But Barbados was ruled out because it was a single crop island. Its economy in 1919 rested on sugar. Trinidad had a second major export crop, cocoa. In fact, cocoa was more valuable in 1919 than sugar. It also had several other industries, and of course it had a burgeoning oil industry, which made Trinidad quite interesting. So the decision was made for Trinidad. Jamaica, by the way, was very miffed. Jamaica had made a bid for the Imperial College. Jamaica's agriculture was also very diverse. Jamaica was ruled out because it was too far away and it was felt to be inaccessible, or relatively inaccessible, for people coming from the smaller islands, Barbados and even Britain itself.
We have to go way back because this was a sugar estate. And this house was known as St. Augustine House. As time went on, there was an arrangement with the government to build a hospital on part of the land. And that was because there was an outbreak of yaws in the country. When the college came here then in 1922, that yaws hospital and this house, for instance, were about the only buildings on the site. The rest was non-existent.
The Imperial College was an imperial institution. It was created not primarily to serve Trinidad and Tobago, not even primarily to serve the British West Indies. It was created to serve the empire. And its main business was training men who would go out and serve in the tropical colonies of the empire.
A lot of those people had been to Cambridge and Oxford to start with. So they had a little, as far as we are concerned, a little problem there. You know, there was always a little gap. They kept a little distance. I think looking back, different students had different views. Some felt that it was a harsh situation. It was very harsh. Some felt that there was a sharp division between the staff and the students, that you know, we were treated like colonials. But for me, I never observed any of those things. I thought it was a great opportunity to learn. My year, if I remember correctly, we had an admission of 20 students. Well, in the end, 8 graduated. The rest, well, you just have to deem to have failed, and you have to leave the college. You had to have achieved a first-class standing each year, and especially in the 3 main subjects, which were agriculture, botany, and chemistry. You couldn't drop below a certain level. The other important characteristic was the students were from all over the world.
It had a worldwide reputation for the training of high-level experts in tropical agriculture and for research in crops like sugar, cocoa, bananas, all the tropical crops, cotton.
It's so many things that we take for granted were discovered here. You had, like, take the banana crop, the banana fruit, not really the crop, the banana fruit. We know now that it is shipped all over the world. It's grown here and shipped to England or America, wherever. The conditions for ripening and storing of the banana was done right here. The ripening of it particularly, conditions for ripening and for shipping. And now everybody, all over the world, people benefit from that, and they don't even know where it came from.
When we walk around the campus today, if our eyes are open and we can see, the physical legacy of ICTA is everywhere, particularly in the northern half of the campus. Above all, the administration building, which, as you know, has been recently refurbished and rededicated. That's the ICTA building. That was the central block, opened in 1925, which was the main ICTA block. And many of the other buildings around the admin building, in fact, do date back to the Imperial College days.
I certainly thought it was a very beautiful campus. The buildings were well spread out over the campus, so there was a lot of green open space, not just the playing field, but other green spaces. The student numbers were much lower.
Milner Hall was the only hall of residence when I came here as a student. The corridor was reminiscent of the corridor in a passenger ship with doors leading on both sides into the rooms. They were lovely rooms, large rooms, well appointed. Furniture was very good and very open, very airy. The dining hall was where Dagger Hall now is. It was a 2-story building. The ground floor was the dining hall. Where the Sir Frank Warren's post fields, Canada Hall, the engineering faculty, the library, land surveying, chemistry, and so on. What they had around there, the main activity around that part of the campus was an experiment on peasant farming.
In the ICTA days, the farm down in Valson had not yet been developed, so that the part of the campus here, this campus, near to the Church of Roosevelt Highway, on that end was a farm for teaching the students who were doing the DICTA, Diploma in Tropical Agriculture.
They had about, I think it was 5 units of peasant farms they had. The kind of farms and farming activity that was common in Trinidad at the time. And that pond there that now is so weedy in the middle of the engineering quadrangle was where we got irrigation water for our plots.
So all of that area, there were no buildings. The first set of buildings in that area was with the John F. Kennedy College of Arts and Sciences. The engineering faculty was the one that was furthest south.
And so the changes in the buildings on the campus, the number of buildings really came at that time.
Exactly 50 years ago, on October the 12th, 1960, a glittering ceremony took place at what was then the brand new Queen's Hall. And this was a ceremony by which the old Imperial College of Tropical Agriculture was in effect wound down, and all its assets, all its staff, all its facilities were handed over to the University College of the West Indies, UCWI. So that event marks the beginning of St. Augustine's history as a campus of the regional university. Most of the scientists who were employed by the Imperial College were willing to transfer to UCWI. So the campus here, as a UCWI campus, began with a core group of highly trained scientists with an expertise in tropical agriculture. And they became the first members of our Faculty of Agriculture, which was the first faculty of the regional university to be established here.
From the beginning, there was a very close working relationship between what was then the Department of Agriculture and the ICTA and the Cocoa Research Unit. So a lot of the early work on cocoa in Trinidad was done both by the Department of Agriculture, which was the government department, and ICTA, and then UWI.
As the University College built up its expertise and its experience, it gained, we could say, its independence from the University of London, and that took place in 1962. So the University College of the West Indies became the University of the West Indies, independent.
The cornerstone laid finishes a house, not to house people, but the ideals of a people. The sons of the cut-out tongue, daughters of the dark water, will learn a way here. They will make a way that blood can be turned to ink, tears and dreams to words, and the light left in our eyes collected to edifice a new dawn by these our own hands. Rooted in dreams. Rooted in dreams. Rooted in dreams.
Across 5 remarkable decades of achievement in education at the St. Augustine campus of the University of the West Indies stands a commitment to highest quality teaching, research and intellectual leadership.
We were set up just before independence. And I think if one was to look at the Trinidad and Tobago Society, and even West Indian Society, but particularly in Trinidad and Tobago, you would have seen the graduates or the alumni of our university in various spheres of leadership. We are in all spheres of leadership here.
Expanding in scope over 50 years, from tropical agriculture to engineering and the environment, humanities, cultural arts and industries, education, social sciences, medical sciences and law. The campus encourages the region's brightest researchers and thinkers to learn and create new knowledge for the benefit of Trinidad and Tobago and the wider Caribbean civilization.
Now, this is very significant because it makes the University of the West Indies a truly regional institution in scope, in reach, in impact. But more than that, it really sort of forces the University of the West Indies to think about its future. Will it continue to expand in undergraduate education? Or should it perhaps begin now to concentrate much more deeply on graduate education and research?
Today, 9 research pillars guide the research accomplishments at the St. Augustine campus: biotechnology, cultural studies, education, health and wellness, hospitality and tourism, information technology, social and economic studies, sustainable environmental studies, innovation and entrepreneurship. The Faculty of Science and Agriculture, the pioneer on campus, is among the largest in the university, promoting interdisciplinary research in agriculture, agribusiness, management, biochemistry, biology, botany, chemistry, computer science, human ecology, environmental and natural resources management, mathematics, physics and zoology.
We see ourselves as being able, through our research, development and innovation, to find solutions to problems confronting us as a region. The idea was that if we could come up with an anthurium of a unique color that no one else has. In terms of genetic manipulation, because we do have purple flowers existing, so they were able to work with our colleagues in biochemistry, in molecular biology, in chemistry, and be able to isolate the genes responsible for purple coloration and insert that into the DNA of the anthurium, so you can get the purple coloration. So it was a multidisciplinary approach to solving a problem. We have stressed biotechnology is now something which most countries are embedding into their research agenda, but we see agricultural biotechnology as important in the Caribbean region.
The FSA is a strong and productive research-oriented faculty. Staff across all 6 departments and the Cocoa Research Unit create and develop new knowledge focused on strengthening a wide range of sectors.
Housed in Trinidad and Tobago is the International Gene Bank for cocoa. So all the varieties of cocoa in the world, cocoa plants, are in fact housed right here in Trinidad and Tobago. And we have been doing significant research for not only the local and regional cocoa industry, but also the international agencies. And we have made significant breakthrough in terms of resistance to witch's broom diseases, right? And the black pod diseases. And we have also now been doing significant work in the flavor chemistry of cocoa. And in fact, researchers are knocking on our doors almost on a daily basis, for information that we have generated in our cocoa research unit.
I can't pick one factor that keeps me in UWI, but I think that especially that how, from a research perspective, in the chemistry department, we're really now going away from or starting to get into applied research as opposed to pure research.
The Faculty of Engineering, a foundation faculty of the St. Augustine campus, has grown from the first intake of just 68 students in 1961. Today, the faculty has produced over 10,000 specialists and consultants across the broadest range of engineering disciplines. Chemical engineering, civil, electrical and computer, mechanical and manufacturing, industrial, agricultural biosystems engineering, geomatics and land management.
We've also done well with students who have gone abroad. We have had students who've left UWI and are into Cambridge and Oxford the next day doing postgraduate programs. We have developed strong relationships with a lot of companies abroad. The one I remember coming from electrical engineering was companies like Lucent Technologies and Nortel, who are big names in the telecom sector, who we work very closely with over all the years. At the staff level, our staff are involved in consultancies, industrial support, research and development across the board, appointed on boards. Typically in a developing nation, that's what you have. A lot of university involvement in companies that need expertise. Instead of paying FIT or paying someone to come from abroad, you take it from the nearby university.
Groundbreaking research and development of the Genesis pan and percussive harmonic instruments at the Steel Pan Research Lab has been honoured with the Order of the Republic, Trinidad and Tobago's highest national award.
G-Pan is the future of pan. It is a re-engineered pan, re-engineered and redesigned to reduce the deficiencies of the traditional pan and to give panists an instrument that is of the highest class. It has a sibling let's qualify an electronic version of the pan. So what we've done in that project is we have exploited every single shred of technology that exists on the pan. So we come up with an acoustic, physical, traditional form, which is a G-pan, and we come up with a brand new, modern form, which is all plastic, which is an electronic pan, designed for the panist.
That if anybody were to ask me what is the singular most important contribution of the Faculty of Humanities and Education to the development of this country, I would say it's in the area of the production of teachers for our schools.
At the front of Caribbean thought in education, history, languages, literature, film, creative and festival arts, liberal arts and archaeology, the Faculty of Humanities and Education places the spotlight on the region's unique heritage.
In history, we also produce people who are in the forefront of the analysis of the historical legacy of this region, and who came to the interpretation of history from the point of view of people who were empathetic towards the ordinary people. So that the history that people like Bridget Breton, K.O. Lawrence, and others wrote was a history that was trying to empower the people of the region. So our history was no longer being written from outside by outsiders. It was being by insiders, people who are connected with the University of the West Indies.
I became a PhD student in the faculty of then, it was called Arts and General Studies. This was in I think I started in 1967, 68. I was one of a tiny, tiny group of people, and now, as you know, the graduate cohorts are much, much larger and growing all the time. That's made a huge difference because graduate research, particularly the graduate research degree students, really make an enormous difference in the whole intellectual and academic atmosphere of departments and faculties.
One example of outstanding and relevant research at the Faculty of Humanities and Education is the work undertaken by the School of Education at the Family Development and Children's Research Centre. At this world-class holistic early childhood learning centre for 3 and 4-year-olds, family life is a central research topic, developing policies and new approaches to strengthening the role of family in early childhood development. The FDCRC's findings contribute to shaping of national and regional and international policies, offering a full spectrum of solutions in early childhood learning. The Faculty of Medical Sciences. Research here under the umbrella of One Health at the schools of medicine, dentistry, veterinary medicine, pharmacy and advanced nursing create a wide range of multidisciplinary studies. These 5 important medical schools exist at the heart of Trinidad and Tobago's and the region's health and wellness.
We've given the citizens of the Caribbean an opportunity to become professionals in a highly desirable field with the advent of all these various all these various schools within the faculty. We have continued to produce a cadre of very highly qualified professionals in medicine, which has been the history of this university, and that has continued.
From since I was a child, I've always loved animals, and the challenge of science, pursuing science, was also something I wanted to do. So I put those together and decided to do veterinary medicine. And I chose UWI because the vet school here in Trinidad is a complete system where you do all 5 years in one place, and to me that meant a lot. And I wasn't ready to head out and do something abroad. So the comfort of staying in Trinidad, as well as pursuing the entire degree, all the 5 years in one place, appealed to me.
The faculty is committed to the development of excellence in health research. While its research priorities are determined by local and regional needs, its perspective remains international through the development and productive research collaborations with renowned research institutions across the world. In so doing, the Faculty of Medical Sciences brings developed world technology to solve regional health problems as defined by regional governments and agencies.
Our faculty is continually providing personnel who are important and fill important roles in the health sector. For example, we are involved in the various boards and in the care of patients in the health centers. A number of our faculty members have leadership roles in the running of the health institutions throughout the country.
The contributions of academic staff and graduate students from the Faculty of Social Sciences, its departments of Economics, Management Studies and Behavioral Sciences, supported by 14 specialized research centers, focuses on core social realities that shape Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean. Together, they produce a body of work that also holds significant relevance to the wider world.
We are the largest faculty on the campus, and one of the things that we have done that has caused that to happen is that we embraced the concept of the evening university in the 2004-2005 academic year. That has brought an influx of a different type of student into the campus, whereby we in social sciences, who already had a number of courses being offered in the evening, converted our evening offerings into an actual evening university. So that now we have a different cohort of students who come through our doors who are working full-time and can now pursue their education after traditional working hours. And that has made a major contribution to tertiary education in this country and provided new opportunities for students.
Economics, parliamentary practice and government, criminology and psychology, gender studies, international relations, management, sociology, social work and mediation, impacts of poverty describe the broadest areas of learning and research at the faculty. Research projects undertaken by the Faculty of Social Science explore subjects which are by nature interdisciplinary and dynamic.
The Faculty of Social Sciences emerged at St. Augustine in 1966. So that we had, in those early days, a number of persons who would have made major contributions in society. I mean, recently we lost Professor Dennis Pantin, who came in the 1980s. But Pantin would have represented a long list of persons in economics, people like Roy Thomas and others, who would have made a major contribution in that particular area. In government and politics, we had people like John Laguerre and Selwyn Ryan, who were in the Department of Government in the old days. And then we would have had people like Acton Camejo in sociology. There was even Professor Maureen Kane in the field of social work, who helped to get the social work program off the ground. So that in a number of ways, the Faculty of Social Sciences has come onto the scene, provided a very nice backdrop in terms of the research of some of the leading members in those fields that I've spoken about, and to that extent has made a major contribution. Of course, we've grown since then, and now we are the largest faculty on the St. Augustine campus as we celebrate our 50th anniversary.
Trinidad and Tobago's St. Augustine campus of the University of the West Indies, celebrating 50 years of achievement, committed to fulfilling the university's timeless mandate, charting future horizons, nurturing tomorrow's leaders.
I would like the campus to grow, expand, continue to modernize, introduce new technologies, new ideas, ask to interact and interface with the national community, encourage more continuing education programs, that people come back, that the graduate studies programs are emphasized.
I can't imagine not being a graduate student, not furthering my education. It's just something that seems like the most natural progression. And it's just, we just helps to facilitate that.
I think the sky is the limit in terms of expansion of our graduate programs and above all our research programs, because that's where, it's a cliche, everyone says it, that's where our competitive advantage lies, in our tradition of graduate education and research.
We want people who are well-rounded, who have a good understanding of what's happening in the world, what's happening in their society. That's the kind of graduate we would like to see. And to me, that is a work in progress. I really want to see this university give leadership to the society.
I will never be able to read all them books in them library. I confess that I will never be able to read 1,000,000 books. But what I will be able to do is to have an agenda, to really understand historiography. I will forever be able to use the wand of history to cause magic then. You know, I feel like I feel powerful but without an ego. You know, I feel strong but without needing wings to fly. And I feel like history showed me the way where I need to go. And it also humbled me at the same time, because I will never be the knower of all things.
We all have finite times in here, but I think while we're here, we must make a difference. And my hope is that I will be seen at the end of my term to have made a difference.
The University of the West Indies St. Augustine campus at 50 is a veritable oasis of ideas, learning and leadership. From a proud foundation of research, the legacy of the university continues to thrive, driving its mission to transform the development of West Indian society through teaching, research, innovation and intellectual leadership.
50 years from now, I hope that the University of the West Indies will be seen as the institution which basically led the development of the West Indies as countries that became major players given their size and the size of their population in the global economy.
We now have an opportunity to see the University of the West Indies as a true University of the West Indies. And we may also want to consider embracing some of our colleagues in the non-English speaking Caribbean, so that the concept itself is one that is not only Anglophone.
And that would include countries like Guyana and Suriname, Haiti, for example, the French Caribbean islands, the Dutch Antilles, and even where there are national universities in these countries, like the University of Guyana, Anthem de Com in Suriname, the State University of Haiti, University of the Antilles, that they become part of a federal structure. If we are there 50 years from now, it is because we would have been fulfilling that mandate, that mission, to advance our West Indian societies.
The cornerstone laid finishes a house, not to house people, but the ideals of our people. The sons of the cut-out tongue, daughters of the dark water will learn a way here. They will make a way. That blood can be turned to ink, tears and dreams to words, the light left in our eyes collected to edifice a new dawn by these, our own hands. Rooted in dreams. Rooted in dreams. Rooted in dreams. Rooted in dreams.